Hi, welcome to my tutorial on the laws of indices. There's quite a lot of these laws. You need to remember them all, so get used to using them. The more you use them, the more likely it is you're going to remember these and not have to keep on revising them all the time. So let's have a look at them. Question or rule 1. X to the A times X to the B. Well, if you've got X to the A times X to the B, that becomes X to the A plus B. So for example, if you've got x to the 6 and you're multiplying that by x to the 3, that's going to become x to the 6 add 3, which is x to the 9. Make that a bit clearer there. Second one, this is our division law. If you are dividing indices, then this becomes x to the A minus B. If you're dividing, you subtract the indices. So for example, if you've got x to the 7 and you're dividing that by x to the 3, that becomes x to the 7 take away 3, which of course is x to the power of 4. Third one, this is our powers law. If you have x to the A to the B, that is the same as x to the A times B. Now, you'll see the reason this works in a minute. So if you've got, for example, x to the 3 to the power of 4, this really means that it's x to the 3 multiplied by x to the 3 times x to the 3 multiplied by x to the 3. So if you have a look at what we're doing there, this is basically the multiplication law. Add all those together, you get 12. But you can clearly see here, if you multiply these indices here, that's going to give you 12 anyway. A lot quicker way of doing it. So that's x to the 12. X to the 0. X to the 0 is always 1. So if you've got 4 to the 0, that's going to be 1. If you've got x to the 0, it's 1. If you've got 2x to the 0, x to the 0 is 1, but then you've got 2 times 1. So that's going to give you 2. So be careful with that one. Next one, x to the 1 over a. X to the 1 over a. Now, if you've got x to the 1 over a, that is basically the root if that was a 2, the cube if that was a 3, the fourth root if that was a 4, and so on. So for example, if you have x to the half, that's the same as the square root of x. If you had x to the third, that's the same as the cube root of x, and so on. X to the minus a, number 6. X to the minus a is exactly the same as 1 over x to the positive a. So if you see this, anything with a negative power, it puts it as a fraction with 1 on the top. So this is going to become, for example, let's say you had x to the minus 3, that's going to become 1 over x to the positive 3. 1 over x to the positive 3. Now, we could have this as a half there. So another example of that might be x to the minus a half. Now, if you're using that, you've obviously got the two laws, this one and this one, together, because you've got the negative there and you've got the fraction part there. So this is just going to become 1 over x to the positive a half, and then that becomes 1 over the square root of x, because x to the half is the square root of x. So sometimes you might have to combine index laws together. The last one we've got here, x to the a over b. Well, x to the a over b, this is going to be, for example, that's going to be the root x if that was a 2, cube of x, or the cube root of x if that was a 3, and so on. So That's going to be a b there, but this isn't a 1 anymore like it was on number 5. This could be another number. So it's raised to the power of whatever that number is there. It's easier to look at that as an example. So let's say we've got here, let's say it's x to the 3 over 2. That's going to become x to the half times x to the half times x to the half. Now, all those together is the same as x to the half to the 3. Okay, so what we've got here, we can then change the x to the half to root x to the 3. So there's a lot going on in that last one. You've got to be very careful that you get everything right there. Okay.